In today's NHL, being a GM is a lot like being a professional gambler, as in, you're constantly taking risks with long-term deals, trades, etc., etc. When they benefit the team, you get to keep your job, and if and when, against all reason, they become nothing but a meaningless weight against the cap, well, the GM carousel is seemingly fired back up. In this video, I'm going to talk about a handful of contracts that have crippled each team's success. And with that, here are 5 terrible contracts that have crippled their team's success. When PK Subban made his way to the Garden State, the defenseman had a decent resume. On a team that went long to the finals, won a Norris Trophy with Montreal, so initially, signing him to an 8-year, $72 million deal didn't seem like an instant bust. Wrong. As we all know, Subban's lackluster performance has been the topic of conversation for quite some time. 18 points in 68 games played really wasn't, or at least I'd hope, what the Devils organization foresaw when they inked the massive deal. Granted, pretty much everyone was bad in Jersey last season, you'd still naturally expect the player drawing the most yearly income on the team would at least show up though, am I right? And the team that has several expiring contracts to sign for next season, unfortunately, isn't really going to be left with much to work with. Guess you could say that Florida is kinda living the same nightmare as the Devils, in the fact that the player that's eating the most of the cap seemingly forgot how to play hockey once he changed sweaters. Not to rip on Bob, but that 5-0 loss pretty much gave us an idea of if the break really benefited his game. And even though there's definitely still time for redemption, the netminder was far from mid-season form in the contest. Regardless, the Panthers, whose second highest player, Aaron Ekblad, with $7.5 million a year, displayed massive faith in the Tendy and pretty much left them with nothing to spare in result. So these days, you've gotta overpay D-men a little. It's pretty much just expected. And really, Karlsson hasn't been bad for the Sharks. When he's on the ice, that is. As a defenseman, hasn't played a full season since the 2016-17 campaign. And obviously the pause happened, but even then, number 65 unfortunately broke his thumb beforehand. That still has him out on IR. And in result of signing Karlsson, also, San Jose was forced to part ways with their top goal scorer the season before, which definitely has taken its toll on the team's offense. Now obviously, one player doesn't make a team succeed on his own, but here's an interesting stat. With Pavs, without Pavs. Therefore it begs the question, will Karlsson's contract do more damage than repair in the end? The biggest, most exciting free agent signing we've seen since the dual $98 million deals were given in Minnesota. Tavares, who was consistently driving the offense on Long Island, definitely earned his pay raise, given in the form of a 7-year, $77 million contract. So the contract itself, on a different team's books, wouldn't be so bad. But when you already have a couple top caliber players to sign that will definitely demand close to, if not more money as forwards, it's going to significantly take its toll on the team. As we've seen in the past, the trio that's making 8 figures up front makes up 41.9% of the total cap alone. That has left Dubas with not much at all to work with. The team that's unevenly built has a massive gap in the defense department, which has proven to be their longtime Achilles heel, especially in the postseason. Who knows, maybe they'll get past the first round and surprise us all in the end. When Skinner joined the Sabres, the 8-year, $72 million contract didn't seem half bad. 63 points in a full season's play seemed to assure Sabres fans at the beginning that this wasn't a mistake. Having a player that can score goals alongside Eichel, who's a skilled playmaker, only seemed logical. Then, last season happened, and number 53's numbers unfortunately took a turn for the worse, as Skinner, who largely relies on goals for production, had less than half the shooting percentage of the season before. Factoring all of this in, combined with Buffalo's current cap situation, and Skinner hasn't left the club with much, considering, right now at least, players similarly to Ottawa will have to be a little overpaid to consider something long-term, or maybe at all.